Yeah, just gonna skip episodes. I'm just gonna do the story stuff until the end, probably. I'll do some side stuff in the middle, but
retrieve the film canister our
not that. I just do it for
informant hid in Spoonmate Keith before he died. It contains vital information on Skullface's plan. For now, our only clue is the garbled photograph the informant tried to send us before the end. We're working on analyzing the data. There's no time to wait. A KGB Spetsnaz squad is after the target as well.
Still gotta fight the Soviets?
Go to Spoonmate Keith and use the VI to lead you to where the film canister is hidden. It is paramount you retrieve the target before the enemy does.
Be careful down there, boss.
Has been updated. Marker placed.
I could scale the back part of it, I guess.
Enemy presence detected. Map has been updated. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
I learned of the vocal cord parasite's existence in literature belonging to the Foundation. It was little more than a theory. The question was, why does only Homo sapiens among all primates have highly developed language? Human versus everything else. The missing link between these was the mystery that gave rise to this theory. I was fascinated by the idea of their existence in the Dene creation myth. The Neo Dene, who first inhabited the world, were insect-like creatures. I came to imagine that those insect-like creatures could be humans.
Oh. What? How did I miss that?
Symbiosis with the vocal cord parasites, but I had not the faintest idea of how I could resurrect them. That is when Skullface came to me.
Well, I goofed.
What he offered me was not just assistance with my metallic archaea research. He told me the vocal cord parasites really existed. And not only did they exist, they had already been brought back to life in the modern age. An ancient human cadaver, host to the parasites of the time.
So much for the quiet part.
From a permafrost region, and isolated the DNA coding of the vocal cord parasites. Naturally, there were long
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Oh, they have a sniper.
but there was an alternate vessel they could use. A relative species of the Pentastomida, discovered in China. It had adapted to live in the nasal cavity.
You got to extract him.
But its genetic sequence showed signs of common ancestry with the vocal cord parasites. Ontogenesis,
Oh,
the
the
path
reinforcements
of an
coming, huh?
organism to maturity, is like a roadmap of the phylogenetic evolution of the entire strain. Cypher used this to effect a reverse evolution of the modern parasite and resurrect the vocal cord parasite.
He's coming.
They interposed a developmental mechanism to the ontogenetic stage analogous to when the relative species first appeared. The point at which it split from the vocal cord parasite, forcing its evolution down the other path. The vocal cord parasite path. The larvae this produced were the vocal cord parasites. Reborn. I do not know in detail how Cypher accomplished this, but clearly they have access to higher level genetic technologies.
They have access to high level a lot of things, technologies.
Genius woman scientist.
Oh, strange
And
looking?
that the relative species in question,
Or was it, oh,
first
probably
discovered
paramedic,
by a
actually.
group once called the philosophers. I was tasked with modifying the resurrected parasites. He charged me with two demands. First, to add lethality to these organisms that had once lived in peace with man, by unleashing the larvae's latent desire to consume nutrients from the host's lung tissue, making them eat and eat until the lungs were destroyed. Second, to have both male and female
Oh, we're strike out of here.
host, and copulate then and there, only when exposed to specific pronunciations,
There's
continuous
Pequod.
for an extended time. What he would do to the detect if I failed.
Cover fire. In hot.
Boss, we fully decrypted the VI data. Now the target's hiding place should be clear as day. Check your iDroid.
The cleansing parasite project was the identification of not only language.
Just take out the helicopter, man. That's all I need you to do. There you go. Good job.
Language is deeply connected to ethnicity, but many languages are employed.
Now that their
by
eyes to the
multiple
sky is
ethnic
done,
groups,
the rest of
and
this mission should be way
confrontation
easy.
between those ethnic groups is by no means rare. If the cleanser parasites were to be a deterrent against ethnic conflict, they had to distinguish between groups using means other than pure language. The original plan calls for this to be achieved by differences in the transmission vector. Each ethnic group
You gotta extract him.
and eating habits. For instance, parasites living in shallow water and taken in through the skin could be used to target rice farming groups, or parasites using cows as their intermediate host would be ineffective against cultures that abstain from eating beef. But that is a lofty goal indeed. The current parasites mainly rely on droplet transmission. It would take extensive
Boss, we've succeeded in decrypting the data of that VI the informant sent to guide us. The image is clearer now. If you compare it to the terrain around you, you
How do I
should be able
access
to
it?
locate the hiding place. Find the target.
operation. But despite that, he told me to forget about the transmission route and just focus on language identification. I do not know why. I understand that the Chinese philosophers who discovered the relative species of parasite originally planned to develop a phonogrammic Alexia parasite.
Oh.
The left temporal parietal region is home to the part of the brain that identifies the phonetic symbols of the English language. They wished to create a strain that would parasitize that region and suppress its literacy functions.
Wait.
The brain area responsible for identifying
Parasites can actually
the
prevent you
overlaps
from
of
reading?
Chinese, meanwhile, is in the left.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
Meaning that even if native speakers of Chinese were infected with the parasite, their literacy would be unaffected. Old and new, east and west, there is no limit to the delusions of those in power. But this delusion threatens to become a reality. I have to do something to stop this. There must be something I can do.
Huh.
Skullface has finally burned out. The world is rid of his existence at last. Was he still alive? You could say that. But you could also say
Sit up
he'd
on
been
top?
dead for decades. What's that supposed to mean? Biologically speaking, it's hard to say how much was his life. Side effects from the treatment? No. The primary effect. Keeping a dying host alive as long as possible. That is the whole point. But in the end, he grew too dependent on his children. As if he had any other way to keep on living. He first underwent parasite therapy before...
A prisoner. You gonna help him?
His body was horribly burned. Fire washed across his thin, young frame and stole his skin and his throat, even his lungs. Only through
He's coming too.
therapy
Roger that.
The parasites keep him alive. And most of his life became something the parasites gave to him. And then he lost the ability to die. That is correct. The parasites live on past the host's death, still aiding cell composition. At that stage, there is no way to extract them from the host cells. There is no way of knowing when the last cell of Skullface's body would die. The only choice was to burn the whole thing,
Complete.
and his children along with it. And I am one to talk. When my life is snuffed out, I expect you to treat my body the same.
You gotta extract him.
And when I burn, I will truly be one with my children for the first time. You say there were 3 English vocal parasites.
Where the hell is
Skullface?
this
Yeah.
thing?
Skullface had 2 of the English strain with him. You burned both of them. There was an oil fire. I tossed him in. So that just leaves 1. And you tell me Skullface said he used it. He said it was very close to me. Very close. One of your comrades. Or someone ordered.
Ah, why don't you just straight up say it's
You
quiet?
could have been speaking metaphorically. Metaphorically. Close to your spirit. Close to your heart. Someone who either loves you or despises you. The second one makes a long list. Whichever it is, act with caution. Skullface implanted someone with the English language strain.
Okay, it's on the ground. It's by a pot.
Why? I tell you what Skullface really meant. Very close to you means you will be exposed. All the infected here have been given the
Alright, it's
Walmart.
next to a broken pot somewhere.
Even if the vocal cord parasites infect them
Where the
now,
hell is
they
it?
cannot reproduce. But if there's a different host among us, host to the English strain, if that were the case, we'd see the symptoms. What about the non-English speakers? We have plenty of those, but the staff use English as a common language. But if that someone has not spoken English yet, and begins to speak it now, there'd be another outbreak. The final mating pair of the English strain must be found immediately. Skullface is gone, but his threat still remains on this base.
Okay.
Do you see what the final
Alright, it's
mating
by a,
pair
it's
is?
near a pillar.
With
by
him
2
dead,
doorways.
those parasites.
It's hard to see with the freaking,
wish to leave upon the world. His thirst for
Okay, so this is
vengeance
2 pillars.
in the flesh. Think. Does anyone here bear a grudge against you?
Oh, is it this?
Who would target you specifically?
The ethnic cleansers that Talker mentioned, they weren't Skullface's true goal. All we have is circumstantial evidence, but here's my theory. It was Cypher who started developing the vocal cord parasites as bioweapons,
So,
parasitic
this?
weapons, and Africa was the testing ground for them. As Talker said,
No,
their
it's near the
purpose
big
is
R.
the ethnic cleansing of only those who
So this
speak a particular language. So they could do a weapon of mass destruction to eradicate specific groups, races, ethnicities, or colonies by the language they speak. Or a kind of absolute language
Maybe
control.
around here somewhere.
Or maybe a tool for those arrogant fools to
Or
build
the other
some
side.
misguided utopia. I can see plenty of uses for them. However, in practical terms, they wouldn't be as dangerous as you think.
I hope it's not under
Counteracting
these
the
guys.
parasites is easy, after
Oh,
all.
there it is.
Cut them out of your throat to save your life, or just don't
You've
fall
completed your objective. Now get out of the hot zone.
from spread. So if the international community were to find out about them, they'd no longer be the threat they were conceived to be. In which case, their targets would be limited to minority groups as a deterrent or a terrorist tool.
Alright, let's go save the
It's
pits.
hard to imagine Cypher developing something like that as a main weapon for their arsenal. That leads me to think we've only tugged on one little thread in Cypher's grand tapestry. An obscure corner of their work, possibly forgotten altogether. In any case, things changed. when Skullface was forced to relocate to Africa and he saw that thread dangling. All the time he continued that research, he was secretly following his own agenda. The ethnic liberator parasites, his English language strain. Skullface said there were only 3 samples of the English language strain parasite, and I think we can believe him. Bringing his ethnic liberator's plan to fruition depended on creating an English version of the vocal cord parasites at all costs. But an English strain would have been useless to Cypher. Worse, it could have
they don't want to destroy.
It was the one type they couldn't allow. That means Skullface was forced to develop his English strain out of sight of Cypher's network. Naturally, he couldn't use the greenhouse facility Cypher had set up and filled with guinea pigs. Skullface must have found some secret place to create his precious few English parasites, hiding all evidence like a man cheating on his wife. Somewhere, an entirely standalone environment. And when his plan entered its final phase, he must have made the place disappear. Some little room, could be anywhere, but now nowhere at all. We'll never know where he did it, but to elude Cypher's surveillance, it couldn't have been big. I believe Skullface was telling the truth.
All right, you're out of the hot zone. No enemy forces in pursuit. Mission complete.
Oh, wait, I can't rescue him? I have to rescue him before I get the tape? Huh.
Development project has been added.
Mission complete, boss.
Oh, here we go. Yes, I need this equal to the hamburgers. That's the most important part. The spacing is kind of annoying. Like, I wish they would tell you how much space before the second KVC. Because sometimes you're just outside of range and you're just screwed, stuck in bullet time. And you can't run to them. The alarm will trigger. I wonder what's next.
Side ops list updated.
I've updated the mission list.
Mission list
We received a
updated.
new job offer. The details are on your iDroid.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Oh, I'm gonna take this truck now. How are your stats?
Analysis complete.
Garbage.
Analysis complete.
Garbage. Or whatever.
Please select a strike point. Please select a landing zone. Support helicopter
Roger.
requested.
Oh. Sorry, bro. Oh, I can continue the, No, I need to know what happens with the burgers.
Feeling hungry, old timer? Old timer. I do not get hungry. No. But you have a new hamburger?
You guessed it, and this time we used lamb.
Lamb.
You're not a lamb kind of guy?
A hamburger is made of beef. Who ever heard of a hamburger without beef?
Yeah, but we gotta stay fresh, stand out from our competition.
You're what?
Just give it a try.
but
I cannot call this a hamburger.
Thought we were onto something this time. Maybe the problem is that it looks like a regular hamburger. Gotta think outside the box. Too much baggage if they come in expecting just another burger. Let's see, cotton candy to make it look like a sheep. Yeah.
no, Kaz, you're going
Just
crazy.
a minute. You really think people would eat that? What is it you are planning? Are you using me? A taste tester. A one-man.
Extraction arrived at
Yeah, fun
Marketplace.
fact, like most of the world's taste testing is done in this place in New Jersey. Oh, well, got a boaster here? We don't need him. Oh god. Yeah, I gotta listen to the end of this thing. Damn, it's taking a while. There we go. Alright, what's this next main mission we gotta do? Yeah, okay, the internet must be lagging. The internet works. Oh, I can't even move the cursor on the map. Come on, guys. Yep, no rupture occurred. Alright. Sorry, gotta listen to the rest of that.
Feeling hungry? Oh, yeah, I gotta kill her. Maybe gotta think out. You would it take a one-man focus group?
Well, actually, already started. I got a place called Miller's Maxi Buns.
You are kidding me.
Well, to be honest, business hasn't been great. No one seems to like my buns.
The Ocelot said diamond dogs, but
Yo,
it
he-
did not add up.
He
You don't mean to tell me.
What? No. Our black budget's
Yo,
got
he's
it all covered.
embezzling
We're not
money to
embezzling
start a
GMP or
burger
anything.
shop.
Still, let's not say anything to Snake, okay?
Too late,
Very
bro.
well.
Too late.
However, Kazuhira, it takes more than premium ingredients and a clever recipe to satisfy the palate.
Okay. So what do we do?
The palate seeks one thing: chemical additives.
Chemical additives.
There is nothing mysterious.
Yo,
or spiritual
he loves
about
those
good
chemicals in
flavor.
his food.
The tongue simply identifies specific amino acids, which the brain then recognizes as appealing. Therefore, all that is needed is to chemically isolate those amino acids and incorporate them.
Yeah, it's kind of like cheating, right? Like, all we're just putting in chemicals
To be
that
clear,
tell our brains
I
that
speak
this
of
thing tastes
flavor.
good.
The rest,
And it forces everyone else to use it too, because that's like using the cheat code,
do
and
not
everyone
forget
else, if your
that I am
competition is
a
using cheat code and you're not,
scientist after all,
you're gonna go out of
and
business.
using
So you have to do it.
for the benefit of others is the joy in seeking coexistence with nature's blessings. Not every
Yeah, it sounds kind of like he's
remains
just
in
justifying
its
it.
natural form. When we fall ill, we must be treated. Otherwise, that very nature could cost us.
Yo, certain
our
people
lives.
should probably listen to this.
Agriculture is one of nature's many blessings. But through that process, we damage the surrounding vegetation.
Yeah. Whether it's a massive farm or a tiny field, we always leave our mark on the land.
The same is true of parasites. And for food preparation. If tapeworms in the raw meat of another animal enter the human body,
Sounds
they
pretty
roam
painful.
around trying to find their usual habitat. Sometimes even eating away at the brain in their confusion.
Yeah, so lesson learned,
So
cook your
when
food
looking
well.
through a
That's it.
scientific
Not what
point
he
of
thought.
view, you see the necessity for processing food. Yes, it is also sometimes necessary to eliminate certain parasites, or selectively use or even modify others. Alternatively, we could say that if a man is part of
I mean, if you follow to that logic, then nothing we can
what
do
he
no
does
wrong.
is also part of it. What is important is the balance.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks, old-timer. You really opened my eyes. I fooled myself into thinking people today wanted high-quality, all-natural goods. But my favorite burgers were never about that. What they want is something like the first burger I had in America when I went to meet my dad. A Frankenburger loaded with additives. That's the America I knew and loved.
That's the
I'll be back in a jiffy, old-timer. My next burger's gonna knock your socks off.
Kazuhira, wait. What is important is how we balance the...
Nah, man, screw that. Put all the additives.
Frankenburger. What kind of a dive did your old man take you to?
Mission accepted. Weather will clear shortly.
Hold on, let me see.
Heading to Central Africa.
Alright, we're gonna meet some whoa, this thing is super high damage. But there's no lock on. Alright. We're gonna be fighting some vehicles in this one. Out of things to play. Maybe I'll get COD World War II. Actually, the FF15 multiplayer DLC actually looks pretty interesting. Might jump back on that.
CFA are assembling an armored column to the north of Nova Braga Airport. Your
Well, as
job
long as we're not
is to
actually in
wipe
that
them out.
airport. That airport is
Listen to the
really
tape for
heavily
the contract details. Just be aware that the column's commander served with 5 Commando and later made a name for himself in South Africa's 32 Battalion. He's a hardened veteran, so don't take him lightly. Boss, I have a report from the intel team. The targets are now on the move. I've sent their predicted route to your iDroid. Check your map.
Okay, so they're all gonna meet here. We should go here.
Be careful down there, boss.
Oh no.
The map has been updated.
you?
Detected. The map has been updated. Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
How about
Analysis complete.
oh, you got some skill?
Spit it out.
Oh, time to get some intel.
You have arrived at your destination. Analysis
You
complete.
gotta extract him.
Analysis
Oh,
complete.
damn, you guys are really good.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
We're actually coming. Hold on. Does this take any time? I'm curious.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Does this actually take time, or is this, you know, free action?
Intel
I've
file
updated the info
obtained.
on your iDroid.
Map
Take
has
a
been
look.
Analysis complete. Guard post captured.
Here they come.
Why activate Sahelanthropus in Afghanistan? This is how Skullface wanted things to play out. The Soviet Union secretly develops a new type of nuclear weapon and successfully deploys it in Afghanistan. Revealing the existence of Sahelanthropus results in a return to the glory days of the Cold War. The threat it
Boss,
poses...
we have new targets. Check your iDroid for the details.
The demand for nuclear weapons increases around the globe. What if you then introduced a nuclear weapon anyone could get their hands on? Non-nuclear nations, militant groups of all shapes and sizes, they'd all jump at the chance. Sahelanthropus was a marketing tool to sell nukes all around the world. But I think it's safe to say that plan was stamped out before it got up and running. The world's intelligence agencies never did turn up anything conclusive on it. After all, Sahelanthropus vanished before word could spread. Everything that's happened is already a fading memory, never to join the pages of history. Except for Cypher. Cypher won't forget. They'll already be working on something, quietly, beneath the surface. They'll use the pieces of data
You gotta extract him.
from this incident to build their own bipedal weapon. It'll take them a long time.
Nice work, boss.
For now,
The targets are almost history.
Sector have found their new life's work. We'll have to be ready too.
Oh, we gotta take care of that freaking helicopter. Oh. Should I be listening to cassette tapes right now? Probably not, but I don't care.
Hewitt dug up some interesting facts about our skull-faced friend. 9 years ago, he was exiled to South Africa, stripped of political power. The upshot's that he ceased being a serious threat, in Cypher's eyes anyway. They eased up on
That's an
surveillance
enemy gunship.
to establish his
Don't try to take down a gunship from the front. You won't win in a head-to-head shootout. Try to get behind it and take it down with missiles.
They probably didn't even know the organization was a part of Cypher at all. Anyway. He was in South Africa where he found renewed interest in parasites. And when he discovered the vocal cord parasites, he began to make his plan. Wipe the English language out of existence.
Whoa, that was it?
Boss, come in.
It's okay.
Boss?
There was a checkpoint after I took the two guys, I think.
The CFA are assembling an armored
Oh, no.
column to the north of Nova Braga Airport. Your job is to wipe them out.
Cameras can't see behind you guys.
He's coming too. Nice work, boss. The targets are almost history.
I have to hit him from behind. Alright.
Hewitt's dug up some interesting facts about our skull-faced friend. 9 years ago, he was exiled to South Africa, stripped of political power. The upshot's that he ceased being a serious threat, in Cypher's eyes anyway. They eased up on surveillance, giving him an opening to establish his own military unit, one that answered to his will alone. Those men likely had no idea their orders were coming from Skullface. They probably didn't even know the organization was a part of Cypher at all. Anyway, it was in South Africa. Found renewed interest in parasites. And when he discovered the vocal cord parasites, he began to make his plan. Wipe the
That's the way.
out of existence. Free the world, not by taking men's lives, but by taking their tongues. In his eyes, the greatest symbiotic parasite the world's ever known isn't microbial.
Just one target left.
It's linguistic. Words are what keeps civilization, our world, alive.
There was something
Where the hell's the
Skullface said.
wreckage?
America is made up of many peoples, but those peoples never mix. Quite so. One nation, home to hundreds of different ethnic groups, many of whom stick to their respective living areas. Little colonies, not interacting with other groups, going out of their way to avoid one another. Their land, organizations, relationships. Thus, the United States of America is no melting pot. It is more of a salad bowl. It is not made up from one people, but for its minorities to function in society, a common ground is needed. Language.
How do I stop it?
The country is not one. No, because it's not one. A lingua franca is necessary.
Got it.
English.
Good. You completed the objective. Now get out of there.
And English could unite diverse ethnicities. In taking in people from around the globe, America became a microcosm of it.
Could argue
Now
that.
the boundaries between it and the rest of the world
Roger.
are blurred. However different our neighbors
I'm
may
not
be,
quite convinced by that that America is like a smaller representation of the entire world.
relationships with each other.
Because, you know, everyone does speak
If English
a
can
language
bring
here.
unacquainted neighbors together in America, this should hold
Oh yeah, I
for
guess
the
you can use it
world.
as an experiment. Right? See if English can
That
hold
that
together
is the world,
a society of
also
different
become
cultures.
one.
That doesn't seem... I mean, it's worked, but it doesn't seem to work that well. We still have our fair share of problems. Rulers and
A
language.
ruler's greatest wealth is not money or land. It is the number of individuals under his control. Subjects who work, consume, are there to be used as pawns in war. For a capitalist ruler, his people's power becomes his power.
Arriving shortly at
You are the
LZ.
same. With your diamond dogs, you spin it with your speeches. But what you're doing is bringing as much talent as you can into your
I mean,
local
yes,
domain.
you can do that with money, with capitalism, but the thing is, like, the person always has the right to say no, right?
Yes.
You can argue every man has their price, but
Every civilization
there's always
ruler
the
has had
choice
the
to say
same
no.
idea. When people unite under one will, they become stronger than the sum of their parts. And the one will is the ruler's will. And what do rulers use to bring people together?
Extraction.
I'm guessing his answer is language.
Mission complete,
Oh.
boss.
Oh, that's ranked that. Feels good. Feels good, man. Feels good. Oh, whoa, there's a fourth? Yo, we gotta listen to this. Nope. Got some S ranks.
Boss, as we suspected, the mastermind behind the kid's escape was Eli. It's hard to believe, but apparently he'd been
It's
plotting
not
an
hard to believe.
uprising
It's
against
the
us.
problem.
He could be hiding something else too. Ocelot's gonna press him for answers. Get back here as quick as you can.
Oh, are we about to see some not great stuff? No, I'm gonna listen to the Hamburgers thing. I have to know. But they're probably not gonna let me.
Virus.
I told you, your father's not here.
They're back.
Yes, they're back. But don't get any bright ideas. Your quarters are under full surveillance. Your weapons
He
privileges
had
have
weapon
been
privileges? Guys, we shouldn't
suspended.
be
No more
doing-
uprisings for you. Did you really think it would be that easy, Commander? You'll get your boys back. Hell, even see the boss, too.
First, I need to know what you sent them to do
They want us to leave.
to their homelands.
They want us to go home. That's all.
So they were just homesick then.
Not quite.
Oh,
Military warlords, PFs, the armies that murdered their families. Cousins, brothers, parents. They all had someone they wanted to kill.
is he hijacking Sahelanthropus? Is that
I
what's
told
about to
them.
happen?
Last chance to face the world with no regrets.
Last chance.
You better be ready for your drag back here. Ready to face the world as enemies. No!
Oh, we know Ocelot survives. He'll be okay. Alright, so how do you actually beat someone like that, right? You beat Psycho Mantis in MGS1 by switching controllers. That's one of the things that takes attention out of this game, because you know everyone survives. Maybe.
I'm not like you! Goodbye, Father. I don't need you anymore.
It was a mistake to freaking... Oh, I should just grab that thing. Wait, that thing can fly? When did that happen?
Was Ralph really an accident? Or did Eli just rig it to stir up the boys? Either way, he had to have been planning for this all along. Bidding farewell to the world.
Praying mantis. Oh, it's for Psycho Mantis. A hold up thing. Is there an advantage to holding up rather than CQCing? Oh, it doesn't last after the enemy forces go on combat alert.
Boss, we're looking for the kids in Sahelanthropus, but there's still no sign of them. We don't know if the chopper pilot is alive either. What have we gone and put in the hands of those kids? We don't know how bad this is until we find them. Also, regarding our concerns about Eli, I finished looking into whether or not he's a product of that project. I have an answer. I put it on tape. Give it a
Oh,
listen.
wow. You gotta put it on tape instead of just, telling me.
Boss, I've updated the mission list. We've received some new job offers. The details are on your iDroid.
I have to find out about the ultimate hamburger. Where's the white mamba? Let's find out.
Boss, we've got the results of Eli's genetic tests. We can finally put this worry behind us.
We used the PCR technique and conducted DNA fingerprinting of the copied DNA sequences. Neither is mainstream science yet, but the concepts and procedures are sound. Both tests say there is 0% chance that the two of you are blood relatives, meaning the results are negative. He's not your son, nor is he your clone. He's just another person.
It was 12 years ago that Zero made plans to clone you. Eli's age and appearance certainly are a good fit. I admit the first time I saw him, I did a double take.
Does he look like you when you were younger? I mean, we don't have any photos
Eli
of
isn't your
Snake
clone.
when he was young.
Though you might still have one somewhere out there.
But if Eli isn't the boss's clone, why does he seem so obsessed with him? Not to mention having one hell of an attitude for his age.
I don't know. Learning the truth about himself, cursing the fact he's a clone, bearing a grudge against selfish adults, and coming to hate who he was cloned from. Big boss. If that were really the case, I could understand it. I might even feel a bit sorry for him. But no clone could
Yeah,
have a
well, he
totally
killed the kid in
different
cold
DNA
blood,
fingerprint.
and he stole
And
a
the test left no
super
room for
weapon.
error. You yourself were there when we drew Eli's blood sample.
Come to think of it, when we went to OKB-0, he'd snuck onto a chopper and was there.
Yeah.
He was acting strange even then. Or actually from a little before that time.
That was exactly when we began these tests.
Maybe he suspected something when we drew the sample, not knowing what we were doing to him, and becoming mistrustful of us.
Hard to say. Eli's had an attitude
Yeah,
problem
he's
from
kind
day
of
one.
So what is
a
he
little
then?
prick.
Well, if he's going to tell us that himself, we'll need to get him to open up more first.
Gotta find out about the hamburgers.
Rise and shine, old-timer. It is complete.
I had our best and brightest working overtime, fine-tuning the greatest burger
That's
the
a bold
world
claim,
has ever
sir.
known.
I call it the chemical burger.
Damn.
What on earth is that color?
Now, don't judge a burger by its color. Go on, try it.
I am not very hungry.
What? Oh, I get it. Now, sure, it's loaded with additives, but each one's been approved by the WHO for human consumption. Come on, one little bite's not gonna kill you.
Are you sure of that? Fine.
Well, what do you think?
Select unit.
It is perfect.
Right?
This takes me back to the
Select
taste
unit.
of my youth.
Start
The
speaking.
neon signs on the mother road. Oh, I can see them now.
So, what do you think of our signs now?
Select unit.
And it doesn't just
Start
taste great.
assigned.
You won't believe how cheap it is
This
to
is
make.
made from chemicals.
And because it's pumped up with preservatives, it won't spoil easily in regions lacking refrigerated storage or transportation infrastructure. This bad boy could even solve Africa's hunger problem.
Excuse me.
People will no longer fight over food or find reason to hate one another. Mankind will come together, reunited between these fluffy buns. Forget Pax Americana. Say hello to Pax Hamburgana.
Pax Hamburgana.
Skullface thought that destruction was the way to free the peoples of the world from American imperialism. But this is different. Tackling something head-on just makes for more conflict. Only by uniting the world can its various inhabitants truly become free. Having lived as an American parasite as long as I have, I know what I'm talking about. The chemical burger is poised to be the greatest liberating force the world has ever known.
An ethnic liberator. Burger.
Now all I need is a better brand image, starting with a name. Gotta run, old-timer. I'll catch you later.
Sadly, Miller does not go on to create world peace through burgers. His story ends rather sadly. Same as
Development complete.
same as most everybody else in this series, I guess. Alright, well, guess we're done for today. We must be near the end, right? I said that like a couple of episodes ago, but you know. I didn't think it would keep going. With Skullface's death, I thought it was over. Alright, have a good day, guys.